For fun?
All right, here we go. Going live now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Inappropriate Movie Database, the comedy game show about content warnings. I'm your host, Nick Martucci. I'm thrilled that you're here for the last episode of April. This should be a fun one tonight. We're doing a topic I started doing last month that I really like, where my guests bring in their favorite movies and then try to figure them out based on these clues. Before we get to that, I want to say if you're new to this show, welcome. If you like what you're seeing tonight, you should go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We've got almost 200 episodes at this point. We've been going for almost 2 years. More on that in a second. Some of them pretty good. Go back and check out those episodes. Also, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, you should join that. If you search Inappropriate Movie Database or click the link in the description of this video, that's where you can get all the information about this show, including how to be on it. I will start booking for May shows, if not today, then tomorrow, this weekend. May's coming up real soon, and I need to put that list together. But if you want to be on the show, that list will be available on the Facebook page or on the Twitter and Instagram pages at IMDb Game. Keep an eye out for that. Look for the dates, the themes. If you want to be a part of those, just reach out to me. I've mentioned it earlier, but we're just doing Thursdays in May. Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern. We've got one special show that we're going to be doing one Saturday this month for the anniversary of the show, the 2-year anniversary of the show. I think the last time we did one of these was for the 100th episode, which was 72 episodes ago. But basically, we're going to do a special Saturday night episode. I'm sorry, I'm looking for the date of it. Saturday the 6th, May 6th. I'll give you the time later, but I invite anybody who wants to participate to join that game. We're going to do a free-for-all. We're going to do 20 movies we've never used on this game before, and I'm going to give away money to the winners. Not a lot of money. It's all coming out of pocket. I've never made a dime off of this show, which proves what a great businessman I am. So look out for that and the rest of the dates and themes coming up soon. I think that's all I have to say up top. Let's bring in the guests and let's start talking some movies. Joining me on the show tonight are Katie Gartner, Maxwell Shultz, and Marty Viscosi. Hey, everyone.
Hey, Nick.
Hello.
Hey, Nick.
Now, I don't have any mini games tonight because this is favorite movies. Marty, don't worry. There is a question at the end, though.
Sound like a fucking bitch.
Marty loves the question at the end. We've added it's been a while since two of you have been on this show. We've got like a Final Jeopardy style question at the end. Keep that in mind. But let's talk first to the person who's just been dominating the show this year. I think it's just neck and neck between you and Josh Poirier. Marty Viscosi, welcome back to the show.
Hello. And Nick, I need you to know that I have actually ranted to my coworkers about that question as of today.
Just the general idea of the question?
Just the general concept.
If it makes you feel any better, there's a reason why I have lost this game twice in the 2 times I've played it this year.
You know, that's not a great comfort to me, Nick.
We did 2 episodes earlier this week. I played on the Tuesday show. Josh Poirier hosted Actors with Parkinson's. Check that show out. Just know that maybe the winner of that show shouldn't have won, but I'm happy about it. It wasn't me. But Marty, you were on the last time we did these 10 favorite movies. And you provided me tonight with a list of 10 new movies.
Sure did.
I can't talk about any of those because I don't want to give anything away to your opponents. So what's a movie you've seen recently that you've enjoyed?
Nick, I should have remembered that this was the question that I did not. Let me pull up my letterbox. I've seen a lot of things I didn't enjoy recently. I'm full of nothing if not extreme opinions. I'm trying to find one that I've seen for the first time recently. Oh, Dolls. I was not expecting to like Dolls as much as I did.
Is that the one of the actresses in the mansion, or is this a different movie?
They are.
Oh, I'm thinking Curtains because it has a doll on the cover.
You sure?
No, what is Dolls?
Dolls is a horror movie that would have absolutely scared the shit out of me as a child because I'm almost 31 and it was like on just the borderline of too spooky for me in a couple points. But it's like this girl and her dad who sucks and her stepmom who sucks all go on like a car trip and then their car breaks down and they have to go to a spooky mansion and there's this creepy old couple and they make dolls, but there's something not 100% right with the dolls. But it was very good and I really liked the ending. I thought it was very like sweet compared to the rest of the movie and it was just fun. And it I'm blanking on who did it, but it's the same person as Reanimator.
Stuart Gordon or Brian Yunza?
Brian Yuzna.
Okay.
And it was fun. It looked like it was not going to be good, and I kind of thought that's what I was signing up for, but I was pleasantly surprised.
I mean, I feel like I already mentioned this earlier this week, but that brings you even closer to finally needing to see Society.
Someday.
Because I think that's also him.
Maybe.
Well, Marty, welcome back to the show. Also returning to the show, been too long. It's been, I don't know if you've been on in the last 100 episodes. Maxwell Shultz, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. I know the first time I was ever on was one of those Saturday free-for-alls.
That's true.
I don't know which one that was. It's been a minute. It's probably been like a year-ish since I've been on. But I'm very happy to be back. I won't talk about the movies I gave you, but
not to interrupt you. So you were on the it wasn't the 100th episode, but it might have been the first anniversary episode, I think was your first one.
Okay, so then
your last one was episode 88.
Okay. Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a little while. How have you been?
Really good, really busy. I have off and on been an undergrad for 10 years, and I will graduate in 2 weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that's taken up a lot of my time, thank you. And I also, quite frankly, stand-up has been going better than it ever has for me. And that's taken up a lot of my time as well, between like being booked on shows and producing my own shows.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest reason I haven't done this, is I'm booked most nights you're doing this.
No, that's totally fair. I mean, that's a reason that I don't jump on a ton of shows. And while you're going ahead and becoming a better stand-up and getting that stage time, I'm sitting in front of my laptop 2 times a week talking movies.
Yeah, but
so we're all on our own comic trajectory.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, Maxwell, again, I don't want to give anything away about the movies you picked. So have you seen anything recently that you can recommend?
Okay, so when you asked Marty, I was thinking, and there's 2 that aren't in my list that I've seen very recently, and they're both older, like 20, 30 years old, that I just missed altogether. I've never until very recently seen anything in the Scream franchise.
Oh.
And then my girlfriend wanted to see Scream 6. I think that's the most recent one, right? So we saw that, and I knew nothing going in, but thoroughly enjoyed myself anyways. So now we've seen most of them. And the other one that I was going to mention, very different genre, but I recently watched with her as well, Hamlet 2.
Oh, yeah. What's his face? Steve Coogan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is a bonkers bad film, but it is so fun. It's like a step away from Wet Hot American Summer.
Yeah, that one, it's been a while since I've seen that one. I think I saw it when it came out and then just, I don't think about it too often. But he's funny.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's a fun ride, but it's like you very quickly have to be okay with how dated it very quickly became and how absurd this stupid thing is.
I'm also so fascinated by you jumping into Scream 6 as your first Scream.
Yeah.
Because there is, I mean, all of the movies are self-referential.
Yeah.
But that movie is so self-referential.
Well, like
I can't imagine
people would
how
say
you
that's a
understood
detriment.
anything about the plot.
Well, like there was a point, like we were in the theater and we're like, you know, probably like a third of the way through the film, and like everything's pretty much making sense.
Uh-huh.
And then we meet Courtney Cox, and I'm like, I don't know why she's here. Like, I knew she was in this. I don't know why.
Yeah, the first Scream, maybe a top 20 movie for me of all time.
It's great. I've now seen it. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I just didn't before.
And it might be my favorite horror series. And Marty and I very much disagree on the later ones, but I love those movies. I'm in for whatever they put out.
Yeah, I am too.
So good.
Well, Maxwell, welcome back to the show.
Finally
returning to the show. Like I said, Maxwell hasn't been on since episode 88, which was almost 100 episodes. Our last guest has been on a little more recently. Her last episode was episode 90. So glad to finally have her back on. Katie Gartner, welcome back.
Hi. We'll consider that my maternity leave.
Absolutely. You've got another little baby now.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how you're even managing to have enough time to do this show now. But B,
I'm functioning on a lot of caffeine at the moment.
I also assume this has to be a little bit of a nice break from things.
Oh yeah.
Well, I assume you've been homebound for a little while now. Have you been watching anything?
Mostly TV.
Mm-hmm.
The last movie I watched, I actually got stuck watching because I had like a baby here and I was way too comfortable. And it was unfortunately Broke Down Palace.
I don't know this movie.
Oh, it's like a Claire Danes movie from 1999. It's really bad. And kind of racist too. So
perfect. So yeah, we got two recommendations, and don't watch that Claire Danes movie.
Don't watch that one.
Well, all three of you, I'm so glad you're all back on the show. I do also want to recommend a movie because I did just see this yesterday. This was my little birthday gift to me, but I went to see Suzume, which is the new film from Makoto Shinkai, who directed the masterpiece that is Your Name. If you haven't seen Your Name, see Your Name. But if you have seen Your Name, this is it's a Japanese animated movie. This guy just throws teenagers into impossible situations and creates like these beautiful magical realism coming of age stories. And this one is also really good. And I feel like Your Name got some recognition in the States, but I feel like a lot of his movies don't. So look for that movie if that's playing near you, Suzume. Now that we've talked about movies for a little bit, I think it's time to jump to the game. You all know how this works. You've all played this before, but if you're new to this show, here's what's going to happen. I've gone to IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I have pulled parental warnings for these fine folks, their favorite movies, or at least the 10 that they all sent me. These parental warnings, I don't write them. I don't know who writes them, but these anonymous weirdos have given me 2 years of a show. And for that, they must be okay people. I'm going to read these parental warnings. My friends here are going to try to figure out if they can figure out what their favorite movies are based on those warnings. So to do this, this is something I learned the last time I did this, is that when I give y'all the year, that makes it a little too easy for you. So this time, I'm going to give you the choice between 3 decades. and we'll go from there. So no straight years, but again, you should know the movies you like, right?
Nicholas, you fucking devious bastard.
All right, so Katie, I'm gonna start with you. Would you like a movie from the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s?
The 90s.
The 90s. All right. First movie of the night came out in the 90s. For 5 points, under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Various people ask for alcoholic beverages and drink them casually. Real helpful clue. Maxwell has a guess. Anybody else? What do you think, Maxwell?
Well, based on what I sent you, I'm gonna take a shot at one of my movies. I'm gonna go with When Harry Met Sally.
I mean, that is a good guess. Pretty sure that movie came out in the 80s, but you know that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
It is not When Harry Met Sally.
If there's one thing I've proven, it's that I'm often wrong.
4 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. 2 people drink non-stop in a contest until they pass out. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Marty, what do you think this movie is?
I think this is Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
This movie is one of Marty's choices. The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Yeah. That was the first gay movie I ever saw. I was very, very confused. Like, why isn't there's music, but she's not singing, but her mouth is moving.
Also in Priscilla, Sex and Nudity, a woman performs a striptease and unzips her pants and inserts a ping pong ball into her vagina off screen, and she is shown from behind shooting it out. Sex and Nudity, in a flashback, an old man lies naked in a bathtub and tells a little boy to reach down and pull gently, but the little boy instead pulls the plug out of it. It is implied that the old man's genitals are pulled into the drain. And Frightening and Intense Scenes, the scene where the drag queen is chased after and attacked might startle some. That is the thing with doing people's favorite movies, is a lot of these movies don't actually have enough clues to give you a fair picture. But, Marty got it on 4, so that's what matters.
Yeah.
Marty's at 4, Katie's at 0, Maxwell at -1.
Yeah.
All right. Marty, would you like a movie from the 60s, the 70s, or the 2010s?
I know I put in a movie from each of those decades. At least one from each of those decades. I'm going to go. I'm going to go 60s.
60s. All right, from the 60s, for 5 points, under Sex and Nudity. The men are often shown in their bunks wearing nothing but underwear briefs.
This is not the movie I was hoping for.
All right. Oh, Katie has a guess. Katie, what do you think this movie is?
Is it Cool Hand Luke?
It is one of Katie's picks, Cool Hand Luke. Also in Cool Hand Luke, violence and gore. In several scenes, the main character is badly injured and unable to stand or walk properly. Frightening and Intense Scenes, the man with no eyes is very intimidating. Violence and gore, the prisoners force a man to eat a lot of boiled eggs. He lies unconscious on the table. Violence and gore, very intense prison, physical and mental violence. A raw box fighting between the main character and a big guy with a little display of blood. A convict gets beaten up repeatedly with sticks. A prison boss is attacked by a convict who almost strangles him.
And that's one of my favorite movies.
And that is one of your favorite movies. I mean, we are 0 for 2 on movies I've seen. In movies I absolutely should have seen by now. All right. Well, that brings Katie to 5, Marty at 4, Maxwell at -1. Let's see if we can get Maxwell some points on this one. Maxwell, would you like a movie from the 90s, the 2000s, or the 2010s?
Let's do 90s.
90s. All right. This movie came out of the 90s for 5 points under violence and gore. If this movie was released today, it'd be PG for action, peril, and scary images.
I'm so sorry. Could you repeat that?
Sure can. If the movie was released today, it'd be PG for action, peril, and scary images.
Very helpful. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Maxwell has a guess. What do you think, Maxwell?
Because if there's a second thing you've learned, it's that I'm not afraid of negatives. I'm gonna go with the 1990, the original Lion King.
This is one of Maxwell's picks, The Lion King.
I mean, I hesitated because I assumed that was a PG movie. But...
That is a G-rated movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think what I'm learning is that even if I just give you the decade, it might be too easy for you. So we're going to get another high-scoring game. That's fun. Also in The Lion King, profanity. The word ass is alluded to, but not actually spoken, by a character when he says, quote, "Why do I always have to save your ah?" Violence and gore. The villain throws fiery embers at the main character's face. Sex and nudity. A character makes bedroom eyes at another character, implying she wants to mate with him. The scene cuts away, leaving it unclear if they did. However, the movie ends with a cub being born, confirms that they have. And frightening and intense scenes. A character's death may be intense for some viewers. It's known as one of the saddest and emotional deaths in the Disney canon. The film is notable for being the first Disney animated film to actually show a dead body on screen.
Wow.
Katie still in the lead at 5. Marty and Maxwell both at 4. Katie, back up to you. Would you like a movie from the 60s, the 2000s, or the 2010s?
The 2000s.
2000s. I'm also realizing there are a lot of movies from the 2000s on this list, so I might have to rethink what I'm doing at some point during this game. This one came out in the 2000s for 5 points under sex and nudity. A character buys 3 or 4 sex magazines. The camera shows us the cover of one, and it has a woman in her underwear showing a massive amount of cleavage. Most of the magazines feature women, one features men. All right, for 4 points.
Wait, I have it.
Okay. Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
Little Miss Sunshine.
This is another of Maxwell's picks. This is Little Miss Sunshine. This game...
They wouldn't let me click the button.
I wasn't sure if we'd get done with this game on time, but no, I think we're going to leave early tonight. Also in Little Miss Sunshine, sex and nudity, there is a reference to second-degree burns on a man's, quote, Johnson from sexual activity. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. We see an elderly man snort heroin. Frightening and intense scenes. The family are running into a moving car, and the young daughter runs into a moving car as well. And the entire family are seen running into a moving car again. This could be a little tense. Sex and nudity. One of the child beauty contestants, about age 9, does a routine with music and moves that are mildly suggestive. Brings Maxwell up to 9, Katie at 5, Marty at 4. Marty, we're back to you. Would you like a movie from the 70s, the 80s, or the 2010s?
I'm going 70s.
70s. From the 70s for 5 points. Under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, characters in bars and the Hollywood agent smoke cigars. Maxwell has another guess. Anybody else?
Maxwell.
I'm pretty
All right,
confident.
Maxwell.
I mean, is it the 1979 Muppets movie?
I don't know how we got 3 of your movies in a row, but it is the 1970s, the Muppet movie.
Of course it is. That's when you had me do this, I was like, all right, well, that's my favorite movie. Other than that, it was difficult.
Also in the Muppet movie, violence and gore, a character is kidnapped, and she and another character are tied up and held at gunpoint. Violence and gore, plenty of slapstick, including a character's famous martial arts skills. Frightening and intense scenes, a character took an Instagrow pill, growing taller than a building, ripping through the roof of it. It can be frightening to small children. Violence and gore, a main character is also chased across the country by men with guns, and one particularly menacing-looking frog assassin, and his brains are almost scrambled by electricity, so that he can be controlled by the owner of the Frog Legs restaurant. There's a lot of frog leg imagery, too, that makes him sick to his stomach. I mean, the good thing about this is there's only so many movies for each of you, so eventually we'll run out of Maxwell's.
Right.
10 movies.
I actually say 30, so.
Maxwell, 14 points. Katie at 5, Marty at 4. Believe we are going to Maxwell now.
Okay.
Maxwell, would you like a movie from the 60s, the 70s, or the 2000s?
Let's go 60s.
60s. All right, from the 60s for 5 points under violence and gore. A missing character is later discovered with some scratches on their face. I'm already buzzing in real quick on that.
I'm really hoping that it is what I think it is.
All right, Marty, what do you think?
I think this is the 1963 The Haunting.
This is the 1963 The Haunting.
Excellent.
I wonder if I'm going to do another one of these. I think I'm learning that these are fun and don't work as games. Also in The Haunting, under frightening and intense scenes, sounds of a little girl crying loudly. Sex and nudity is implied repeatedly that Theodora is a lesbian.
Sure is.
Frightening and intense scenes, Eleanor suffers from extreme anxiety, and her emotional and psychological deterioration inside the house is a major focus of the film. This may be upsetting or disturbing to some viewers. Frightening and intense scenes, the film has many creepy moments. The house is filled with loud pounding noises and the sound of a laughing woman.
For the record, one, absolutely obsessed with that book, that movie, the show, everything. It is, in fact, based off of Pine Lodge, aka the Searles Estate in Methuen, Massachusetts.
Oh, fun.
So if you want to get yelled at by some nuns for trespassing, a good place to check out. There's going along, God, what's that street? Not East Street, but if you're going up past the hospital in Methuen, you can see the driveway with the 2 stone lions that she references. But anyway,
that's just a little fact for you. If you live near Methuen, go see a ghost.
I used to work in Pine Lodge, and that house was haunted as fuck, for the record.
you can believe it, we're already halfway through this game.
Excellent.
Maxwell's at 14, Marty's at 9, Katie's at 5. Katie, pick one of your movies, I hope. Would you like a movie from the 2000s, the 2010s, or the 2020s?
2000s.
2000s. All right, from the 2000s for 5 points. Under profanity, a dog humps a woman's leg. All right, let's get to a 4-point clue. Under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, the main character's mother is an alcoholic. She drinks a lot to ease her depression and cover up the fact that she's miserable. Okay, for 3 points under sex and nudity, Sean's brother entices a woman and drops his pants, and she bites her lip. No nudity, but it's implied they have sex. They're later seen together in their underwear. Hey, a 2-point clue. That's a new one. Under violence and gore. After Sean grabs a high school counselor's shoulders, in anger, she knees him in the crotch or gut, sending him to the floor, doubled over in pain. This is one of your movies, contestants. All right, last clue for 1 point under violence and gore. Let's see if this helps anybody. Lance obliviously sets the admissions building of Stanford on fire. Katie has a guess. Anybody else? Katie, what do you think this movie is?
It's my own movie, Orange County.
It sure is.
Wow.
Katie's pick of Orange County.
At least I came in on the 1 point.
All right, that Maxwell's still at 14, Marty's still at 9, Katie up to 6. Marty, would you like a movie from the 80s, the 2000s, or the 2010s?
2000s.
2000s. All right, for 5 points under violence and gore, the closest this film comes to gore is a gross out scene featuring projectile vomit. Okay, for 4 points under sex and nudity, no outright sex, but lots of references to sex, blowjobs, masturbating, condoms, ejaculate, humping, doggy style, and more. 2 men talk about masturbating with a condom on for its benefits. It's implied that a married couple has sex often. Katie has buzzed in. Anybody else? Katie, what do you think this movie is?
Is it The Pick of Destiny?
It is not The Pick of Destiny.
Oh.
For 3 points under frightening and intense scenes, and I need to reiterate, under frightening and intense scenes, 2 men are at an open house observing another guy and his girlfriend looking around the house for sale. One man says to the other in a play-by-play fashion that the guy is getting ready to fart. Within minutes, the other man lifts his leg, farts, and waves his hand behind his backside. Frightening and intense scenes. All right, for 2 points under violence and gore, the Hulk puts Sydney in a sleeper hold. All right, last one for 1 point under profanity. Peter talks to another real estate salesman about sales tactics and that a salesman sells urinal cakes with pictures of his face on them and the benefits of having your face pissed on. Maxwell has a guess. Anybody else? What do you think, Maxwell?
This isn't one of my movies, but is it Ted?
It is not Ted.
Okay.
In fact, this is one of your movies. This is I
no.
Love You, Man.
Oh shit, I'm fucking up. Yeah. I like earlier on I was like maybe it's that, and then one of the clues was like that doesn't happen, but it does.
No, all of this happens.
Yeah, I know.
I also love that movie.
I was really confused because this sounds just like a movie I would love. So
Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh, it's great. Paul Rudd, Jason Segel.
I Love
Lou
You, Man
Ferrigno.
is one of the it's one of those movies that like just took stars from a bunch of like sitcoms at the time and threw them in a film together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wonderful.
Rashida Jones.
Yeah.
It's a fun one. That means Maxwell's down to 13, Marty at 9, Katie at 5. Maxwell, would you like a movie from the 2000s, the 2010s, or the 2020s?
2010s.
2010s. From the 2010s for 5 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking. Alcohol and tobacco usage is displayed throughout with a few references to marijuana, but none visually shown on screen, and no direct indication of drug usage, only slang for drugs such as grass. Characters are shown drunk once or twice throughout. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? What do you think, Marty?
I'm going to take a wide sweeping guess and say Pride.
It is one of Marty's. This is Pride.
Oh no, I lost my lead.
So sorry, I'm also not.
I really think this is, I loved doing this. I think this is going to be the last the last of people picking their favorite movies. Because we are already nearing the end of the game. There are 3 more movies left, 1 more for each of you. There's a movie I wanted to see at 9:30, and I might be able to make it.
Yeah.
Katie, back up to the order. Would you like a movie from the 80s, the 2000s, or the 2020s?
The 80s.
The 80s. From the 80s for 5 points, under sex and nudity. The main character's shoulders are seen while in bed. Implied sex. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell also has a guess. For the first time, 2 people are guessing. Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
I mean, Marty had their hand up first, to be fair.
I know, which is why I go to you first.
Okay. I'm going again with When Harry Met Sally.
Marty, what do you think this movie is?
I'm copying off of Maxwell's notes from earlier and saying When Harry Met Sally.
Fair.
Marty's the first player to gain points off of somebody else's pick. This is Maxwell's pick of When Harry Met Sally.
Fucking on.
I think what I have to do for these next 2, just to keep it fair, is Katie picks a lot of movies from the 2000s. So I think we're going to go early, mid, and late 2000s for the next two movies. Just to keep this fair.
Okay.
Marty is at 19. Maxwell is at 18. Katie's at 5. Marty, would you like a movie from the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, or the late 2000s?
Nick, here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
I know a bunch of my movies came out in the 2000s as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't know what the difference between 2001 and 2010 is. So this is a very unhelpful metric.
Uh-huh.
And I hope you miss your 9:30 movie. I'm going to go with early 2000s.
Early 2000s. All right, from the early 2000s for 5 points under frightening and intense scenes. Some of the movie's symbolism might be confusing or overwhelming for younger persons. Maxwell has a guess. Anybody else? Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
I'm very conflicted because if I'm listening correctly, I don't have a movie left in this. However, I'm very thinking it's one of mine. Is it Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind?
It is not Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Okay.
For 4 points under violence and gore, a couple of people are seen getting ran over by a truck. It was so sudden, but for comedic effect. Okay, for 3 points under profanity, a few uses of damn, hell, and shit in the English subtitles, but no frequent or strong language. Profanity in the English dub might be slightly different, as it sometimes is the case for anime. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Marty, what do you think this movie... Oh, Maxwell, what do you think this movie is?
Spirited Away?
Marty, what do you think this movie is?
I've watched this twice in the past week, and I was going to guess this at the beginning, and then I was like, I think it's Tokyo Godfathers.
It is not Spirited Away. It is one of Marty's picks, Tokyo Godfathers.
You know, it's really funny until it happens to you.
Katie, I'm so sorry. That brings Marty to 22, Maxwell to 16, Katie to 5. Maxwell, you get to pick this last movie. What do we even have left? You know what? I'm going to do it this way because, again, you're all grouped together with a lot of these remaining movies. So, Maxwell, would you like a movie from... Let's see. Sorry, I've done so many of these. I can give you 2006 1, 2006 2, or 2007.
Oh, 2006 2.
2006 2.
The Return.
2002 6.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last movie before the betting round. For 5 points under frightening and intense scenes, there are some ugly and scary looking creatures, but they don't have much screen time. Marty has a guess. Anybody else? Marty, what do you think this movie is?
I think this is Trick or Treat.
This is not Trick or Treat.
God
Trick
damn.
or Treat.
I'm sorry, Trick or Treat.
Trick or Treat is the Ozzy Osbourne Gene Simmons movie from the 80s. For 4 points under violence and gore, a man is stabbed by a sword right through the heart. Blood gushes from the wound, and there is a very graphic sound as the sword goes through him and sticks out the front of his body. Maxwell has a guess. Anybody else? What do you think, Maxwell?
I could be very wrong on the year. Is it What We Do in the Shadows?
It is not What We Do in the Shadows.
Okay.
I also like that Maxwell's the only one really trying to guess movies that he doesn't know are in the game.
Yeah, I am. I am doing that.
For 3 points under alcohol, drugs, and smoking, a man drinks what looks to be a bottle of whiskey as he tells the end of the story to a young girl. Katie has a guess. Anybody else? Katie, what do you think?
Is it The Fall?
We finally got another one of Katie's picks in here. This is The Fall. All right, well, that brings the scores right now. Marty at 21, Maxwell at 15, Katie at 5, which does mean that betting is really going to come into play here, because this can go in any direction. In a moment, I am going to ask you all how confident you feel about a question related to IMDb rankings and ratings. But before I ask you the question, I want you to privately message me over Zoom a bet between 1 and 10 on how confident you feel about that. There's also an opportunity for bonus points. But 1 to 10, we've got a bet from Marty has come in.
If this is the same question as last time, I did bad last time.
What? Wait, can I ask a question real quick?
Sure can.
What are the... Oh, wait, no, I know. You just said the story. Never mind. All right, I'm good.
All right, we've got Maxwell in here, and we've got Katie in here. And yes, Marty was correct. But before I get to the question itself, I would like to read to you all of your lists. Let me bring up that right now. So, Maxwell, for your 10, you chose The Muppet Movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Silver Linings Playbook, Juno, When Harry Met Sally, Swiss Army Man, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, I Love You Man, The Lion King, and Little Miss Sunshine. Marty.
Yes, I did. I agree.
Marty, you chose The Haunting, Some Like It Hot, Tokyo Godfathers, Trick or Treat, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Hell House LLC, Fear Street, Part 3, 1666, The Celluloid Closet, Pride, and The Rocky Horror Picture Show. Katie, you chose The Fall, Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny, Cool Hand Luke, Blade Runner, Orange County, A Fish Called Wanda, The Birdcage, Labyrinth, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, and My Own Private Idaho. What I have done is found the IMDb ratings for all of these movies. And I've found the average of all of these movies. And what I would like to ask you is, of the 3 of you, who do you think IMDb says has the best taste in movies? Private message me which of the 3 of you, and for a bonus 3 points, guess the average rating. If you get within 0.3, I will give you 3 points. All right, I have 2 guesses in. Katie, did you want to try for the extra points?
What's the number?
Between 1 and 10, if you can get within 0.3.
Okay.
I'm also realizing that this is a lot for me to take in. All right. Well, we have everybody's answers in. I should have put this in a separate place. All right. So I will say that Katie guessed herself. She has the best taste. Max guessed himself. He has the best taste. Marty guessed Maxwell.
I have the best taste.
About
Katie has an average rating of 7.3. Maxwell has an average rating of 7.71. Marty has an average rating of 7.36, meaning that Marty and Maxwell are correct that Maxwell has the best taste in movies. Katie, by 0.06, you have the worst taste in movies.
Oh, if only I'd picked something else.
I'm so salty that my taste went up from the last one.
You had some heavy hitters in this one. I mean, some like it hot up that average real high. So Katie guessed 7.2. Doesn't really matter because you also didn't get the right answer. Marty also guessed 7.2. Maxwell guessed 8.5. Neither of you were within 0.3, so nobody gets bonus points. But let's see what this does to the totals. Katie risks 3 points, loses 3 points. Marty risked 1 point, loses 1 point. Maxwell risked 8 points, gets 8. No, Marty gains a point. I'm sorry.
I was gonna
Marty.
say, I will fight you in the fucking streets, Nick.
I was gonna just let that go.
I hate this minigame, but I will fight you in the streets.
I'm so sorry, Marty. Maxwell bet 8 gets. I'm not used to having multiple people gain points. So Maxwell bet 8 points, gains 8, meaning the final scores for tonight. Katie at 5 points, Marty at 22 points, Maxwell at 23 points, making Maxwell the winner tonight.
That has never happened. This is the real reason I stopped doing the show. I needed to prepare for a while.
Well, thank you all for being here for the last time I do favorite movies. I tried to make it harder, but no, you all have a good sense of the movies that you like, except Maxwell. But that's fine because he still won.
Right. I just took enough bold chances. All I needed was to know 8 movies and vaguely know 2.
Yeah, Marty, if you wagered more than 1, you would have brought this to a tie or won.
It's about principles, Nicholas. The people know what's up.
Everybody loves this but you. Well, this was so much fun. Like I said, we really sped through this. Before we go, if there's anything you want to promote, anywhere you want to be found, any last words? Katie, is there anything you want to say before we go?
Thanks for having me back.
Thanks
it's always a pleasure.
Back. It's always great to have you on. I hope we don't have to wait another 100 episodes to see you.
I don't think you will.
Marty, what would you like to say?
Well, first of all, if anybody wants a bad cat, I have one for sale because she just bit my leg for the 3rd time in the course of this game. Second, on a more serious note, I've mentioned a lot recently, there's some stuff going on in Minneapolis with a former Roof Depot site that the neighborhood is trying to regain control of after the city seized it and interrupted a community center and community garden project. The city wants to bulldoze the building, which would release arsenic into the neighborhood. I've talked about this a lot, so there's a lot more information in every other episode that I've been on recently. But we've made some good headway. A proposal passed that would let the neighborhood buy the site so that the city would be hands off forever. But we really, really need money. So if you are a person who has money, even like a couple bucks, this is an opportunity to do like a really, really good thing and really help out a neighborhood of like poor people and people of color and people who are really like doing good work in the community here. But you can find more info on Instagram, either at Defend the Depot, Climate Justice MN, or East Phillips Neighborhood Farm. Because yeah, again, like this is an opportunity to really, really make a difference in a community that is like super densely populated. Most of my work kids live in that neighborhood. My like very good friends live in that neighborhood. I used to live in that neighborhood. Now I live at the other end of the neighborhood, but it's just, we need money, and it sucks that money is so important. But if that is a thing that you have, please give us a hand.
Yeah, I mean, keep talking about it until this is finally not the worst thing happening.
Yeah, it's like, again, I've talked about it a lot on other episodes, so if you do want to know more, if there's an episode I've been on recently, it's probably in there. But yeah, it's like one of those cartoonishly evil situations where like the more you dig into it, the more it's like bad.
Yeah.
So this really is an opportunity to do something really amazing and like unprecedented in this neighborhood. So if you can help in sincerity, it would go very, very far.
Yeah, absolutely. Go there, give money if you can. Maxwell, beat that.
I wish I wasn't going last.
Uh-huh.
I was gonna say, like, promote myself.
Yeah, do that.
If you're interested in me, go find me. I'm constantly on stage. If you live in New England, but do the thing Marty said. Go help that community. That sounds way more important than seeing me tell jokes for 45 minutes or whatever.
I mean, this is terrible, but Marty is also
community
given
garden
this
activism and stand-up comedy.
Yeah. That's it. That's what I'll plug. Pay me to fly me there, and I'll do a charity show.
100%. You just do you have like any shows you're producing that are coming up soon? Like where are you?
Okay.
Where are you putting up stuff?
Thank you. Now that you've asked, I feel more comfortable. I run shows primarily out of both Haverhill and Lawrence, Massachusetts. Coming up, I have on May 6th, Casey McNeil headlining for me in Haverhill. On Mother's Day, May 14th, I have an all-women's showcase, not a showcase, it's a show in Lawrence where Angela Sawyer's the headliner, and then there's a bunch more coming up after that.
Awesome. You picked comedy's mom, Angela Sawyer, to headline the Mother's Day show.
I did, and it worked out. It was a weird thing because it wasn't originally Mother's Day. The venue asked us to reschedule, and now it's Mother's Day.
I mean,
so it's a very wonderful happenstance.
I mean, those are both great comedians. They've both been on this show, and I can at least vouch for the Lawrence show. I've done that once, and that's a real fun room. So
yeah,
go look for Maxwell.
I should mention. What'd you say?
I said go look for Maxwell and see what shows he's doing.
Right. No, I was gonna say because you did one of my Lawrence shows. We've moved. It's the same people, same stuff, but we're now on Essex Street.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if you're in the area, I mean, I feel like there isn't as much comedy north of Boston that far. Yeah. So if you are not in the city and in that area, perfect opportunity to see some great people go up.
Yeah, I run Malice Comedy. If you don't want to follow me but want to follow a production company, follow Malice Comedy, and it's all there too.
All right. Well, I'm so happy you all played this game with me tonight. Once again, Katie Gartner, Marty Viscosi, Maxwell Shultz. I'm Nick Martucci. You can find me on all social media at Blundering Idiom. Find the show on Facebook, search Inappropriate Movie Database, or click the link in the description of this video. Twitter and Instagram at IMDb Game. We're going to be doing the show Thursday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern starting next week in May. The list of all those dates and themes will be up pretty shortly. So if you want to be on the show, go to the Facebook page, go to the Twitter page, go to the Instagram page, find a show that looks good to you. I want to keep having new people on the show. The only way that this show has gone on this long and will continue to go is if people keep playing the game. And as long as people play, I'll keep running it. So please sign up, watch more of the show, watch some of the back episodes of this show. Thank you all.